Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do start, let's give a brief little review. In the last part, a number of events have happened. We had Deku, Tokage, and Ochako. Thanks to these three, their group has enough food to survive the winter. And this does mean a number of things. Bakugo, Deku, and Tamaki headed out to recover two of the bags that were lost. And Izuku, he also showed them the bulletproof zombie was real. He wasn't just cold and mad. This is also a serious problem. They took its corpse and showed it off to another group whenever they came to encounter them, trying to enlist their aid and potentially taking down the hive. Now, they made things quite clear. Crazy shit happens in this city. They live here, they know, and they want them to be aware. There is a bulletproof zombie variant. Whenever they didn't believe it, Deku showed them proof, pulling this thing's corpse out of his trunk and dumping it in front of them. So yeah, if that wasn't fucking proof, I don't know what is. Deku also made things clear. If they work with the military, there could potentially be problems. These people don't. And that is a plus for Izuku. He also gave them a bag of supplies to show they can be trusted. It's the middle of winter, and this shit is basically gold. So yeah, it's important. These people handed off a satellite phone to Izuku, fully charged and with a phone number inside. It is theirs. They have supply routes and no groups they trade with. If Izuku wants in on it, his group will get in on it. And that could be beneficial for everybody. They don't know what they have, but they know some of their friends, some of the other groups they negotiate with, have better shit. They also know the military is the enemy. All of them share one common enemy, and that is a very powerful thing right now, especially in this world. And with that being said, Deku and his group headed back to the manor, where Deku, he plopped this zombie down on the ground and showed it off to everybody. He also asked Mei one simple thing. If she might be able to do something with this thing. Its tail is what cut through her body armor. And this fascinated her, along with Melissa. Melissa's father tried to find a way to cure the infection. But I mean, watching it progress to this stage, watching what could have been a human turn into this creature that moves on all fours, has sharp talons for fingers essentially, and is like a snow leopard, it's insane. It's blind, has sharp as shit teeth, and, well, bulletproof skin. I mean, it's incredible. This thing is so far from what it used to be, and they don't even know if it was human at some point. Melissa has tons of questions about this she wants answered, and she is not the only one. But Hatsume heard one of Deku's requests, since this tail could make a pretty good blade, and she immediately understood what Deku could be implying. So yeah, she's gonna get to work on that. And there also is the group. They're a bit surprised to hear that Deku wants this thing taken apart. I mean, using zombie parts for armor or weapons seems a little messed up. But it's a way to adapt to the zombies. I mean, they're still on the fence about a lot of things. But after taking some of the supplies out and going through those bags, everybody, they became a lot more focused on that. Right now, they are okay. They're safe. They survived winter. And that means everything to the group. Whenever things do die down a bit, they have a plan. I mean, they already have a bit of things planned out for areas around that they can turn into farmland. Even well, build more solar panels or see what they can do. Melissa has ideas. She does have strange ones, and even the idea for a radio tower that they can build on top of the manor, so there is that. But hey, actually getting some solar panels from in the city, just stealing them off of houses, it's still a good plan. But I mean, they have to worry about these relentless monsters, the bulletproof ones. So maybe just wait until the snow melts. See if these things disappear, see what goes on there. They could have to deal with deceivers, but they already deal with them a lot. So yeah, or crazies or even people. You know, now that I think about it, getting solar panels is a lot harder than it probably is. This beyond deck is mine. And currently, he does just don't sit there. Him inside with a lot happening, staring at the hull they took from that store. And he thinks back to that one creature, the one out in the snow. A lot passing through his head. And there currently is Tokage, who does look around a bit frantically. Right now Deku sitting there with Ochako on his lap, him with a drink, and Ochako just smiling. She's a bit happy. They're home, they're safe, and they survived. So far, it's the best thing that's happened in a while. But there is still this one thing on her mind. This idea. Her and Izuku have a relationship, but they don't define it. They don't know about it. They've never stated what they are to each other. And it does concern Ochako. Does Deku think of it the same way? Does he, well, like her that way? The two rely on each other for quite a bit. Comfort, company, but they're. She just doesn't know. Talk to him about it maybe and see. I mean, she's probably just being a little insecure about everything since Tokage mentioned she likes Zuko. Oh god, is she getting jealous? It passed in her mind. Currently, Tokage walking over and grabbing the bag off of the counter. Her running her hands through it and trying to find it. Okay, come on. Come on. Some of the shit still melted together. Okay. Yes! No, no, no. Her pulling it out. And going to see it. Right now, her pulling up a bag of marshmallows and turning to everyone, shouting about what she found. And this, it does get everyone's attention. Currently, some of them turning to see her. And she does try to express about the hull she has found. And this, it does sort of intrigue people. Currently, Deku turning his head to see her. And this, it does gain his attention. She has the idea right now. All of them head outside, and while the fire is boiling the water out there, they roast marshmallows. I mean, they take a break. They've deserved it. They've earned it after everything. Besides, when the snow melts next month, they can do quite a bit. They can figure things out, talk to their groups, and get their bearing. Get their handle on a lot, and go from there. But for right now, they can hunker down. Yes, they might need to find a new place in the city, might need to get more supplies, steal what they can from that shop before the deceiver starts to move again, but they can just put a bolt in the deceiver. I mean, even just throw a spear through its head. Take it down and go there still during the rest of the season till summer. It makes sense to her. And everyone, they do hear talking about this. Currently, her ripping open the bag and going to somewhat bite into a partially frozen and thawed marshmallow. And this thing, it's a bit squishy, but still a bit firm. and that it does somewhat annoy her. Her talking about it, turning her head to Izuku, asking him what he thinks about it. Hmm? What do you mean? Well, I'm just saying. What do you think? Would it be a good idea? Yeah. No, it does sound like one. Though, after winter does pass, those things will be a lot more visible. It'll be easier for us to avoid them. Then again, where I'm a bit more concerned about what might happen. If the military is becoming more involved, we gotta deal with the idea that people could be more involved. We might run into more crazies. Yeah, that is true. That thing missed you pretty good. How you doing about that? I'm fine, said Suna. I'm okay. Everyone turning to look at Deku, and they all do so much to ask about it. All of them have been having a few drinks, and the manor, it's gotten a lot more lively. Livelier than it's been in some time. Probably it's ever been. And this does mean quite a bit. Currently, Bakugo outside with the campfire and cooking a few things. He's got a lot going through his own mind. Deku is taking up the reins as the leader of the group, but that does not seem fair. Deku, he's a killer. He's going psychotic. He's smart, yes, but he's too violent. He has a good rational mind, yes, but he can't make hard decisions. He can't just. In Bakugo's mind, he doesn't seem like the right guy for this. He still remembers Izuku as he was. Yes, he's been through his own shit in the apocalypse. Yes, he's been through hell. He was bedridden after that fucking deceiver blew up on him and Denki, but damn it, that's not the point. He's not gonna run from this. He doesn't have his Jesus, okay. He has better leadership skills than Izuku does. Izuku, he's not a good person for this. And it does get to Bakugo's mind. Kendo, someone staying there, and asking him a question, since he seems a little annoyed by a few things. Him turning his head, and looking back at the fire, talking about his dad, trying to change the subject in his own mind. He wants to head to a safe zone to try and find out if his dad is alive. I mean, he knows about his mom. He knows everything about what happened to his mom. Though that's not something he wants to talk about. He'd rather them he'd rather Are you okay? No, I've got a lot going through my head right now, Kendo. I just I don't know, alright? Every time I'm getting my head together on straight, something happens. I mean, Deku thinks he's the fucking leader of the group. Isn't he, though? Him turning his head, a bit more surprised. And everyone, they do begin to walk outside. Currently, this being where Bakugo would turn his head and see some people. Currently, them all making their way over and getting a few things set up. Jiro brought out a guitar and talked about playing a song. And this, it seemed nice. It's still a little cold, yeah, but with a fire burning, this feels more like camping. And everyone, they're actually enjoying their time. Things feel nice, they feel okay, they're not worried, not stressed. For the first time in a while, they're distracted. It's not about survival, it's not about rationing food, it's not about anything of the sort. It's about if they're enjoying their time, if they're just here. And this, it does become quite apparent. Currently, the water boiling and food getting ready. And currently, Setsuna, she is talking about quite a bit. Her getting the marshmallows out and trying to cook a few of them. And people, they do see her try and do this. Currently, Ochako going to actually stand up and try and help prepare a few things. And everyone, they are a bit better in spirit. Jiro is strumming along on a guitar, and someone trying to sing out. And people are passing around plates of warm food. And they're actually Suzuku. He doesn't actually get one. Along with Setsuna actually going to turn and spin around. Her moving across the fire and trying to warm up a marshmallow. Her running back over and holding one up on a stick. Her asking Izuku if he wants one. I'm fine. How much have you had to drink, though? I'm okay. It's fine. Are you sure you don't want one? I mean, yeah, it's a little burnt, but hey, it's good. Her holding it up. And Deku, his look down. Him, so gonna lean forwards and bite into the marshmallow, pulling it off with a stick. Her, gonna actually smile and turn. Her, gonna actually sit down in his lap as Deku does his own freeze for a second. Her, going to turn. Bring her hand up over his shoulder and talking about it. She does have a question, though. Uh, what is it? What happened with that other group you guys talked about? Everyone turning their attention towards Deku. And this does cause a bit of concern. She's asking a question. And now all eyes are on him. And Bakugo, he can see it. Currently Ochako turning her head and seeing Setsuna on Deku's lap. Her a bit annoyed, but also a bit more intrigued. Deku got a phone from them. He talked about supplies and stuff like that, but they didn't get anything else. They gave off a bag. So, what does that mean? I mean, there's a lot that can happen there. He talked about a lot of things, now that everyone thinks about it. And some of them, they do have to sober up their minds. They were enjoying the moment. And others, they don't want their mood ruined. And Jiro, she does go look around. Her asking a question. So what does it mean then? Everyone turned to her. And Deku, he would turn himself. Her bending down and grabbing a glass of wine. Run out it in a cup that it should not be in, aka not a wine glass. Her going to actually take a gulp of it and turn back. Asking Zuko $1,000,000 question. If they start to trust people more, how do they know they won't be betrayed? And this is a good one. Deku trying to express to them. He gave them those supplies to build trust. As far as they're aware, the military is a common enemy. And the moment Deku does somewhat mention that, Tokage, her face does get a lot more serious. Her smile going to somewhat fade. And she does turn back. Her holding up a stick to the fire, trying to warm it up. And this does somewhat surprise everyone. Her going to actually have the marshmallow light on fire as she does a stand, expressing to all of them. If the military comes into play, she's got a few words that she wants to have with them. And she's sure that Izuku does too. Her going to actually wave the marshmallow around as it'll fly off, smashing onto the ground and burning out. As she does a turn. Her walking back over to her seat and grabbing her drink. Her gonna stumble a bit before gonna turn and just sit back down. Her grabbing another marshmallow as Ochako would walk back over. Her sitting down next to Izuku this time, and asking if that was, well, you know. Hmm? You know what? You know, out there? What? You know? They go confused. And this, it doesn't make sense. Yeah, Tokage sat in his lap, but she's been through a lot. She's acting up a bit, yeah, but she's drunk and probably didn't mean it. So, it's not that big of a deal. Besides, she's trying to play around, joke around, and it's kind of okay, I guess. Him turning to Ochako and going to actually bring his hand up. Him going on her shoulder and someone pulling her close to him. Him asking if she's okay. And she would just try and whisper to Deku. The two going back and forth a bit, as Bakugo, he finally does have the thing that's been annoying him this whole time, bug him too much. Him asking the question, if everyone thinks that Deku is their damn leader. And this does bring everything to somewhat of a bit of a halt. Everyone turning to Bakugo. And Bakugo does try to express, Deku isn't their leader. As far as he's concerned, none of them are the leader. I mean, they make plans together. They all try to figure things out. Hell, if someone's going to be in charge, it should be him. And this, it does get people off guard. And everyone expects Deku to say something. But Deku just don't sit there. Before we do actually have Todoroki, who does it express, Bakugo isn't the leader. People are turning to him, as he were going to continue. Bakugo has shown nothing but contempt for the group. I mean, all he's been doing is yelling, screaming, and shouting at people. And, well, anytime he's in charge of something, it tends to go bad. It does not. Are you saying that that's true? Bakugo, you like to yell. You try and stay in charge of people. People don't listen to you. You shout at us. You don't seem to care. I do care. Then act like it. Besides, if you were the leader, people would listen to you. Besides, hold on now. Deku actually isn't going to stand up, talking about how they should all probably put it to a vote, right? And everyone, they do start to look around a bit. And it's a bit intriguing. Currently, the group, they do go to someone all sit there. And Bakugo, he doesn't someone jump up, talking about it. Deku doesn't have the balls to do what he would. Deku doesn't have the backbone to Deku turning his head and looking at Bakugo, asking Bakugo the last time he went out. And this, it does put all eyes back on him. Him going to express. He was checking traps. He was going out in the forest and trying to find out if they had fresh meat. Some of it worked. They got a few things, but not a lot. Besides, he's the one who volunteered to go into the city. Yeah, I was. And you know what I saw you do, Bakugo? Huh, what's that? I saw you stop talking. I saw you back down. You don't back down, Bakugo. Deku's staring at Bakugo and standing up for himself. Growing that damn spine he talked about all that time ago. What was it now? A year and a half, maybe 2 years ago? Yeah, before the world went to high fucking hell and everything just turned upside down. Yeah, sounds about right. And Izuku, he hasn't let it out on Bakugo a bit. Even before the world ended, Bakugo was a self-centered piece of shit. Bakugo just gonna sit there, staring at Deku. Izuku gonna express he didn't care for anybody and he always had lackeys. Fact is, he never wanted anyone to be his friend. He wanted people to be his subordinates, be in charge. He thought he'd be the #1 hero. But guess what? Now all he is a quirkless nobody who can't use their power. Besides, if he does want to use his power, go ahead. Set off those explosions, go crazy, and try and eat someone's face. He'll gladly put a fucking bullet in his head. And everyone, they do stare at Deku. They do go to stare at Deku and Bakugo arguing back and forth. Bakugo trying to call shitty Deku an asshole, and trying to say that he has no right to be in charge. And this, it does to somewhat cause a bit of chaos. These two having a bit of a shouting match, as him and Bakugo do begin to get in each other's face. And things, they do seem to start escalating. Currently, Todoroki going to stand up and try and tell the two to stop it. And Deku, he does stand there, staring Bakugo dead in the face, not backing down. And Bakugo, he's the exact same way. And for once, in this fucked up world, these two, they're in agreement on something. All it took was life itself to end as they knew it. And it finally happened. They're on the same goddamn page. And Bakugo, he does express to Izuku about what he's been doing. What has he been doing? You know, besides, he went out with those two girls. He spent weeks out there with them. What happened there? Besides, he's heard a few interesting things. People talk, him turning and looking at Ochako, talking about how her boyfriend fucked Setsuna on the base, right? Isn't that what happened? And Deku would bring his hand up. Him smashing Bakugo right in the face. And Bakugo, he does stumble backwards for a second. Run out blood pouring from his nose, as Deku, he does bring his hand up. And he does not say a word. Bakugo going to actually rush forwards and tackle Deku. The two smashing backwards into his chair and rolling into the snow. Deku having his head smashed into the ground, and right now he does throw Bakugo off of him. And Bakugo is land in the snow and everyone is going to turn. Currently seeing these two begin a schoolyard brawl. And Deku is to climb back to his feet. And Bakugo, he does get back up. Him with his open palms yelling about what is happening. He's the one who should be in charge. Izuku doesn't have the balls for it. Fact is, he isn't the right person. They both know that, don't they? Besides, he would get people killed. And Deku, he does stare at Bakugo. Right now him, with his hands up, ready. Not saying a word. And Bakugo, he is trying to go off. Yelling at Izuku about everything. He doesn't know the first thing about being a leader. He doesn't know anything about having people follow him or anything of the sort. All he is the quirkless nobody still trying to be a damn hero. And Deku, he calls Bakugo quirkless. Since if he does use that damn power of his, he'll turn. Besides, he'll gladly put a bolt in his head, if that does happen. He wants to fight. So come on. Try and show him why he should have been the #1. He always made that claim. Always said he was better. Always thought he was better. But why was he better? What made him better? His ego? His confidence? Or the fact that Bakugo is a bully? What does he think that All Might was? All Might was their favorite hero. But he would have been disappointed in him. He knew All Might. And All Might would not have let Bakugo be #1. And this, it does annoy Bakugo. Him stepping forwards and yelling at Deku. As he has a rush forwards, bring his hand out. Currently him throwing with a right hook. And Deku, he would have bring his hand up. Right now him dodging away and grabbing Bakugo by the arm. him bringing his hand up and grabbing on Bakugo's shoulder and smashing him down to the ground into the snow. And Deku, he does go to hold Bakugo there. Currently, everyone watching. As Deku, he doesn't tell Bakugo to quit it. Does he get it? Quit it. And Bakugo, when he does lay there with his arm somewhat turned, he does the idea to use his quirk. Though, he knows that that's a bad idea. Even quirkless, he can't beat Shitty Deku. Even without an ability, he can't win. And Bakugo, he has to do one thing. With his left hand, he has to grab a handful of snow. Him going to bring it up and try and toss it at Deku. And Deku, he has to let go of Bakugo. We're not Bakugo being able to get to his feet and turn, smashing onto Deku as Deku barely into the ground. He has to bring his hands up. Deku bring up his arms to try and defend himself, as Bakugo just smash into them. And this, it does mean quite a bit. And there actually is Deku. While he does stay there trying to defend himself with his arms up, someone does come running over. One of them bending down and grabbing a Bakugo. Bakugo going to actually turn and backhand Ochako as he's to turn back. And Deku is to see that. Rana Ochako smash down to the snow as he's a turn. Deku bringing his hand up and smashing Bakugo in the teeth. Rana Bakugo having blood pour from his mouth as Deku he would bring up his hand again. Rana him using his left hand and smashing Bakugo into the throat. And Bakugo, he is caught off guard by that. Currently, him going to sit there as Deku he would throw Bakugo off of him and back into the ground, bringing his hands back and punching him across the face. And Ochako, she just doesn't sit there in the snow for a second. Her a lot more alarmed by that attack. She was just trying to help, stop these two from fighting. And currently people are watching Deku smash his fist into Bakugo's face, over and over and over. And this, yeah, it does mean quite a bit. Someone staring on as Deku, he gets angry. And he doesn't stop. Bakugo tries to bring his arms out to defend himself, but Deku just does it to smash into them over and over. And Bakugo, he doesn't have any breath. He is trying to catch it and defend himself. And that, it's not too good. Currently, this being where Tokage, we're going to run over. Her bring her hand down on Deku's shoulder as is a turn. Him looking at her as she is to tell him, let it go. Him looking back down. And Bakugo, his face is covered in blood. He's got a busted lip, and his nose is still bleeding. Along with that, he's not worth it. And Izuku, he would have stand. Currently, her turning back to Ochako and seeing her stand up. Her walking away from the situation. And this, it does annoy Deku. Him walking back over and grabbing his drink. Bakugo still lying there in the snow as he does go to sit up. Everyone looking at him. And Izuku, he does it express, holding up his drink and going to gulp it down. Bakugo needs friends, not subordinates. That type of shit doesn't fly here. That type of shit doesn't exist anymore. People won't follow him because of his power. This is the end of the world. He has none. All of them have weapons and tools and skills. That is what keeps them alive. He knows how to throw knives and he knows how to handle guns, at least somewhat okay. He's not too bad with a slingshot, but he prefers a pistol. I mean, he's still trying to learn how to pick a lock. Momo knows that shit better than him, and she's teaching him. There are other people here with other skills. Tamaki is a gardener. He knows how to grow vegetables. That's pretty good. He doesn't like combat. That's fine. But guess what? He still went out with them the other day. He still went with them to go outside. That means a lot. He has no respect for anybody but himself. He wants to go find his dad? They'll go find him when the snow thaws. How about that? So, get his thumb out of his ass. And stop trying to find a reason to be angry at people. Just let go of his goddamn ego. And this, it does somewhat make everyone stare at Deku. As they do go back to what they were doing, Bakugo going to stand annoyed, him walking away, and Izuku, he does think about a lot. Currently, him looking around for Ochako, and she's not here. Right. Right. She's not okay, is she? Tokage earlier. And then that. Lovely. He was just gonna try and play it off as her being drunk and acting stupid, not thinking, but he is oblivious sometimes. But trying to fix this is not gonna be easy. Okay, so what could he do? What could he do? Think Izuku. And with a lot going through his head, and there currently is Ochako. Ochako went to her room. She locked the door. She had pain in her cheek, and she had a lot going through her head. Izuku, she doesn't know how to even begin with all this. Is it jealousy? Is it annoyance? Does the relationship even really matter? I mean, why? Yes, they define it as that. Yes, they have one, but I mean, it's the end of the world. They're This is built off of the end of the world. They relied on each other and they like each other. He's saved her life, he's helped her, and he's a good guy, but Izuku sometimes honestly does scare her a bit. But he's gentle, kind to her. To his enemies, not so much. Honestly, it makes her worried. Deku would have killed Bakugo had she not stepped in. I mean, Setsuna, she was able to talk him down. But Bakugo is a loose cannon, though. He's an asshole, a control freak. She doesn't want to trust him. She's worried about both of those two now. And honestly, she's not sure. There'd be a knock on her door. And this is where Ochako we're going to tell Setsuna. She doesn't want to talk. Besides, go away. She's got a lot on her mind. I'm not Setsuna. Izuku? Her gonna walk over and ask him what's up. Hey, can we talk? Yeah. Yeah. Bakugo said some pretty out there things, huh? He did. He did. None of that's true, though. Okay. Okay. Can you open the door? Her gonna unlock it and have it pushed open. Right now, her gonna step backwards as Deku hears a walk in. Him holding up a bottle, talking about it. He uh he found this in the study. Momo said that he could take it, though she's concerned about this one bottle in there. It was the one her father had before he, you know. Right. So what? You just come here, talk to me, we drink some. expensive whiskey and make up? Not really. I mean, it's scotch. What's the difference? I, I don't know, honestly. I don't know the difference. But Ochako, are you okay? I'm walking over, currently turning and tossing the bottle onto the bed, bringing his hand up as if it feel cold on her face. And she does want to turn her head into his hand. And Izuku, he can see it. There's worry, concern. There's a lot there. And Bakugo basically just poked the bear in the eye. So yeah, that's not good. And Deku, he does try to talk to Ochako, but she's not sure what to do, not sure what to say. This is still. She doesn't know how to. Her thoughts are all jumbled and they don't seem to make sense. Things are normal. This feels like a party. I mean, what else is she supposed to say? Like, hey, you know, I know I've only heard this and that from everyone else, but what about you? How do you feel about all that? Talking to Izuku feels weird sometimes. But she wants to make this work. She really does. And she actually would go a step forwards. Her gonna kiss Izuku. And Deku, he can taste the whiskey. He can taste the alcohol. But he doesn't care. He came here to make up with Ochako. Make sure she was okay, she was fine. That Bakugo didn't leave a lasting impact. So yeah, there's definitely that. And they do spend the night together. They talk and drink. They even decide to head outside. Just look up and think. It became a bit more of a memorable night, but it was still cold. And there actually was the next morning, where Deku, he laid in Ochako's bed. A lot of things in his head. He's used to waking up early. His schedule is a bit messed up now, thanks to his recovery. He slept in a lot, and trying to get used to a few things hasn't been easy. And it does mean quite a bit. Currently, when I get up, whenever someone is going to knock on the door, asking Ochako if she knows where Izuku might be. And this is where Deku, he will get to climb out of bed. Gonna open the door after a minute, and then asking Mei what's up. Hey, okay, I'm glad you're actually here. Alright, I'm glad I could find you. Sorry, I've been up all night working on something. Okay? Come with me, now. We're gonna turn and quickly walk away. And Izuku, he does go to slide on his shirt as he is to follow her. The two walking to her laboratory. And this is where Deku, he will get to see it. Currently, there is the tail on the table, partially destroyed and dismantled, along with the spiked part of it, the actual weapon, laying there. And Izuku, he thinks that this is what she's talking about. He thinks that she's going to try and break down everything about this little creature. Oh, they may have figured out what this thing's made of. They may have figured out how it's bulletproof. They may have figured out how it works. But Deku, he's not sure. But this isn't what Mei wants to talk about. Currently, there being a piece of the armor sitting there as well. And there actually is where she has to bring her hand down, grabbing onto something and picking it up. And Izuku, he does get to set his eyes on a weapon Mei has been trying to create for some time. It was a bit tricky, don't get her wrong, and it did backfire on her sometimes, but hey, she was finally able to make it. Her setting down a crossbow, and Deku does get to stare on at this beautiful creation. And currently, May does go to Express. Right. So here's the whole thing about this. This was not easy to do, and making it took some time. Though, with Melissa's help, it was easier. She did go through some trouble with the other iterations of it, but after some more modification, it was perfected. Hmm? Really? Yup. Listen, it's got a bit of weight to the drawback. The trigger's weighted as well, so you'll notice a ton of tension, and then immediately after it shoots, all that tension is gone. It works, but there's a problem with it. And that would be I've only been able to create a few arrows for it, actual good ones. Besides, I want to say you can use the arrows with it, but you just have to cut them shorter and make them a bit shorter, you know? Right. And for the tip on the arrows, metal would be good. I suggest it, but you could try wooden, but I don't know if that would work against these armored zombies. Though I have been working on armor piercings. You have? Yeah, yeah, I have. It's been a bit complicated and weird. But as far as I can tell, these things can take a good number of bullet fire or gunfire. We were able to dig the bullets out of the skull. We found four of them. Right. And it's good. Really good armor. Though it's also thick. It's a problem with that. I'd say like 10% of its body mass is just the armor itself. Inside though, it's weird. It's almost like an insect. Really. Sort of? I don't know too much about insects or, things like that to give you a proper answer. Melissa talked about it yesterday and she said some nerdy mumbo jumbo, but that's not what I'm talking about. Ugh, I need some coffee. Anyways. Ugh, no, better make that an energy drink if we can find some. Listen, I'd say what we gotta do is break this down some more and get it made in some armor. It could work, but we also gotta figure out how to cut it. Yeah, okay. So ideas? I don't know. We've tried using some of my tools and they do work to an extent. It's like carving marble, though. Really? Sort of? I don't know. It's just, if we want to make proper armor, we'd have to take the flesh out of the inside and figure things out there, and it's just, it's pretty complicated. But it wouldn't be impossible. Definitely a challenge and a task, and if we can use the scrap to make tipped arrows with the fragments. Right. No, that does sound good. But this stuff, is it metal? No, it's some sort of organic material. We've tried putting a piece of it in the forge and it pops. You know. Right. Okay. So it's just trial and error right now. Basically, yeah. Though it's not bad. It's pretty good stuff. Though the tail's gonna be a bit more complicated. Along with the talons. The talons. Yeah, the talons are razor sharp. And the tail, it's pretty good. I'm gonna make a basic wrap for the tail, and that should do it there. But as for a sheath, I'd say leather would be bad, but I'm not sure. I might have to make a custom one. So it might take some time for that to actually be there. Unless you just want to put it on a spear. I'd say, huh, in the talons? The talons are about the same thing. As far as I can tell, they're all the same. Just the tail's got a bit more longer reach. Kind of like a dagger. Well, more akin to a dagger than a knife. Right. Okay. No, I understand. So, as for the armor is not looking so good. If we put our efforts into turning this thing into our weapons, I can put more resources towards our metal or our armor for metal. Yeah, I think you understand what I mean. Listen, I've been working at this for a whole lot of hours, and I'm about to crash. I know I need to sleep. Take a day off. Hmm? I'm sorry, what'd you say? May, take a day off. You've earned it. Besides, we need you in top shape. If you're messing up or not clear of head or clear of mind, you could get us all killed. I'll test out the crossbow and see what I can do. But I am saying, a suggestion is a friend. Get some rest. Alright, you've earned it. You've more than earned it, May. You've been helping us for a while. When's the last time you had a day off? I I don't know. I just get to work and I like what I do. It's better than going out there. I get that. But May, how much sleep have you had in the last couple of days? I have no idea. That's my point. Listen, take some time off, get some rest, let Melissa handle it. Hasn't the workload been easier since she's been here? It's been going twice as fast. She's pretty helpful. That's my point. You're not alone now. You got someone who can help you. Rely on her if you need to, but don't make it a burden that she has to carry. Does that make sense? It does, I guess. It does. Though, if I'm gonna take a day off, what should I do? What do you want to do? Hmm. Drink coffee and build something? Okay, let's try that again. Walk out of this room and think about something other than building something. Go, go, lay down, sleep, and then think about something to do. You can drink, go on guard duty, or whatever. It's just something to do. Take your mind off of your projects and come back to them with a clear head. Yeah, I mean, it could be helpful. Give you some better ideas. Hmm, that is true, I guess. I'll do that. We're gonna turn and walk away. Deku picking up the crossbow and staring at it. Since it's definitely something else. I mean, he was still trying to get used to that slingshot, but it seemed to make just as much noise as a gun. Even more sometimes. Plus, he didn't really hit his targets. It was a good idea in theory, but I mean, maybe this one could be a better idea. I mean, if they could, this thing can actually kill that relentless creature. Though, huh, I guess they're not calling them leopards anymore, or. No, no. Snow leopards? No, no, that doesn't make sense either. Ferals doesn't make sense either, but. Hmm. Let's see. Izuku having to go through his mind. A good name for that creature. Currently, him having that cross his mind. What to call it? And while that's currently happening, we do cut to several days ago, where something came back to that old abandoned base, and it was not happy to find people no longer here. Whenever it got inside, it looked around. It searched. It knew it was missing something. And whenever it finally found evidence, it brought it back. It took it back to the hive. It took it home. And whenever it showed off what it found, it was surprised. The hive knew it existed. The hive thought it existed. It wasn't just a feeling. The smell, the evidence, the blood on the blanket, the sensation it gets from it. The missing piece is real. The missing link. It needs to be recovered. It needs to be found at all cost, no matter what. And while that currently is happening, we do have where the person, we're going to drop the blanket. Them going to turn and shuffle away. And a new creature, it does begin to emerge from the pit. One being given a simple rule. Hunt, bring back, consume. There are many things in this city out of its control, and it wants to fix that. The cold may never end. That's what this creature does know. It's tried its best to live, to breathe, to survive in this city. But it's endured the cold just the same. It does not like it. It does not like feeling the pain, the blistering pain. It likes the warmth. It likes the heat. And this means quite a bit. And with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.